When Emily walked through the front door that Sunday night, she looked different, not in an obvious way. Her hair was the same, her clothes the same, but something about her felt slightly off, like a note played just out of tune. I'd been waiting for her all weekend, trying to convince myself that this trip was what she needed, that a few days away with her friends would help her relax, unwind, reset. She smiled when she saw me, a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Hey, you," she said softly, dropping her bags near the stairs. I missed you. I wanted to believe her. I really did, but something in me had already shifted long before she came back. Maybe it was the late-night silence that had filled our house while she was gone. Maybe it was the single photo she'd posted from the trip, a dimly lit restaurant with 3 wine glasses but only 2 plates. Or maybe it was the way she'd been pulling away for months before that, always too tired, always not in the mood. So I smiled back and said what I always do. Missed you too. Dinner was quiet. She talked about how her friends, Melissa, Sarah, and Kate, had needed this break. She mentioned the beach, the drinks, the laughter, how it was so good to just be girls again. She spoke quickly, like reading from a script, making sure to cover every part of the story before I could even ask a question. When she went upstairs to shower, I picked up her phone from the counter. I didn't open it, didn't even try. I'd promised myself I wouldn't cross that line again. But I noticed something odd. Her battery was at 17%. She'd been gone all day traveling back home, and yet there were no recent messages, no missed calls. Just silence. That night, she fell asleep the moment her head hit the pillow. I lay awake beside her, staring at the ceiling, feeling that dull ache in my chest again, the one that comes when you know something is wrong but can't yet prove it. The next morning, over coffee, I decided to ask the question that had been building inside me for days. "How was your trip?" I said casually, stirring my cup. She smiled again. "It was great, babe. Really great." I nodded slowly, pretending to accept it. Then, after a pause, I said, "That's nice, so which hotel did you guys end up staying at?" She blinked, once, twice, then looked down at her mug. The one by the water," she said finally. "You know, the resort Melissa found. I can't remember the name right now." I held her gaze for a long second. "The one Melissa found?" "Because I texted her yesterday. She said she couldn't make the trip. Something about her son's soccer tournament." Her face froze. For a few seconds she didn't move, didn't even breathe. Then a weak laugh. "Oh yeah, right, sorry, I mixed it up." She came the next day. You know me, I'm terrible with details. I didn't respond. I just sipped my coffee, letting the silence stretch between us. That silence said everything I needed to know. She excused herself, muttering something about laundry. I stayed there, staring at the steam curling up from my cup, feeling the faint tremor in my hands. I didn't need to check her phone anymore. Her eyes had already told me the truth, but I still had one more question, one I wasn't sure I wanted the answer to. That question sat on the edge of my tongue all morning. Every time I looked at her, it almost slipped out, but something in me kept holding back. Maybe I was afraid of confirming what I already knew. Maybe I still hoped she'd come clean without being cornered. By noon, she was outside watering the plants, pretending everything was normal. The sun glared off her phone lying on the patio table. When she went back inside for a minute, I glanced at the screen. A single message previewed across the lock screen. "Miss you already. No name." Just a gray circle with a heart next to it. I didn't touch the phone. I didn't need to. It was enough. My heart slowed instead of racing. That's what surprised me the most, how calm I felt. When she came back out, I asked quietly, "Who was that?" She froze mid-step. "Who was what?" "Your phone," I said. "Someone just texted you. Said they missed you." Her throat moved as she swallowed. "Oh, that. It's probably Kate. She's sentimental like that." "Kate," I repeated, nodding. "The same Kate whose husband called me Saturday asking if she was with you?" For a moment, the world went perfectly still. The air, the sound of birds, even the hum of traffic beyond the street. Everything stopped. Then a flicker of panic flashed through her eyes. "Ryan, please," she whispered, voice trembling. "It's not what you think." I set my cup down and leaned back in my chair. "Then tell me what it is." She sank into the chair opposite mine, hands trembling, eyes glossy with tears she hadn't yet earned. "I made a mistake," she started. "It wasn't supposed to happen. I felt lonely and He listened. My chest tightened, but my expression didn't change. Who? Her lips parted, then closed again. Say his name, Emily, I said, my voice steady but cold. Jason, she whispered finally. Jason. Her co-worker. The one she said was like a brother. The same man she'd stayed late at work with 3 nights a week. For a moment, everything blurred. I could hear my own heartbeat echoing in my head, steady and hollow. How long? She hesitated. A few months. Maybe 6. But it's over now, I swear. The trip, it was supposed to be a goodbye. I laughed softly. Not the bitter kind of laugh, but the empty kind that comes when you've run out of ways to hurt. A goodbye, I repeated. You went to say goodbye. She nodded, crying now. I wanted to fix things with you. I really did. I stood up, the chair scraping lightly against the floor. Fix things, I said. Emily, you burned the bridge and then tried to walk back across the ashes. She reached for my arm, but I stepped back. Ryan, please don't leave. We can talk about this. We can see someone. I only have one question, I said quietly. She looked up, tears streaking her cheeks. What? When did you stop loving me? Her mouth opened, but no words came. Just silence, the kind that answers everything. I watched her crumble in that silence, the weight of her own choices pressing down on her. Then I picked up my keys from the counter. I'm not angry anymore, I said softly. Just done. She tried to follow me, but I stopped at the door. I hope he was worth it. That was the last thing I said before walking out. I drove without a destination, ending up at the lake where we used to spend Sunday mornings together. The water was still, mirroring a sky that didn't care about our story. I sat there for hours, replaying the years we'd built, the promises we'd made, the quiet dinners where love had slowly turned into habit. That night, I didn't go back home. I didn't text, didn't call. I just sat in the car until the stars came out, letting the ache fade into something quieter, something closer to acceptance. Sometimes closure doesn't come from answers. It comes from the silence that follows a truth too heavy to speak.